Alright guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to use your competitors for keyword research and also to use that information to establish the topical map of what you need to blog about in order to rank ideally above them. So for the purpose of this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the example of roofing company in Miami. Let's say we're setting up a website for a roofing company in Miami. We want to rank for those keywords. So what you would do first of all, put the main keyword in whatever's the one with the highest amount of traffic. Usually that's going to be the most competitive as well. And that's going to allow you to pull out who the top competitors are in your area or in the niche or whatever you're trying to target. So in this particular case, you can see here that we've got some companies like Yelp, which is obviously not a competitor. If you're not targeting a local business, you won't have necessarily them, but you might have like Forbes or something. I would typically skip over those because they're not the same type of website as you are. What you want to look for is like the same type of business or type of website that you are. So in this case, for instance, these guys, TS Roofing Systems, let's take a look at them, and I'm going to save them into a notepad. I believe they will be a competitor. Yes, they are. They look like a roofing company or at least something along those lines. So that will be good enough to work with. Let's see about these guys. If they're a real business. Yep, they appear to be. So I'm going to add them to the list as well. And then we'll go with Angie, or Angie is not one. These guys might be. Triple B isn't. My City Roofing might be. So these guys are. We'll add them to the list. And we have, let's say, My City Roofing. They do look like there's something roofing repair. Yeah, okay, so we'll add them as well. And let's pick out bestroofing.net. Let's see who this is. These also look like a competitor. So we'll take them. So basically what you're looking for is the most relevant websites that are similar to yours. Now, some of these might be multi-state or multi-city. So we have to keep that in mind as well, because obviously that's going to be slightly less relevant. We want to focus on primarily the ones that are relevant to exactly what we're targeting. So now that we've got the list of, let's say, the top 5, usually 5 is decent. You can do 10 if it's very competitive. Now what we can do is figure out what keywords they're ranking for and also what topics they're talking about on the website, what they've got covered, etc. So what we'll do first of all is we can go into the keyword analysis and we'll go competitive research domain overview. And what we'll do is we'll throw all of these guys in here. So we will go to keyword gap and we will put all of these URLs in so we can compare what keywords they're ranking for. Add all of them. What this is going to do, especially if you throw your website in here, obviously I don't have one for the purpose of this video, but if you threw your website in here, you'd be able to go missing. For example, you'd click the missing keywords and it would just give you the list of all the keywords that you're missing for that these guys have. And then you could just pull that entire list, export it as a CSV, and now you'd have a list of all of the keywords that they are ranking for. And then you filter through that list and figure out what you need to rank for. So if we go untapped, you can see there's 4.1 thousand untapped keywords here, or you can see all of the keywords that they all rank for. So essentially in this case, that would be this. There's 4.8 thousand keywords here. So what this is going to allow us to see is what these guys are actually targeting. So you can see roofing companies near me, a certain mall, roofers near me, roofing company, etc., etc. Architectural shingles, inspections, roof repairs. So now we're starting to see what we need to actually include on our website. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to start making a note of all these things because these are services and products that we'll need to have. So roof repairs, inspections, architectural shingles. Now you might not use every single one of these, but they're good to have to keep in mind for later. So metal shingles, best roofing company near me, so we know about that. Metal roof, metal roof shingles, we already have that. Roof decking, roof near me, best roofing companies. Bitumen roof, bitumen. Metal roof versus shingles, that can be a blog. And you would go down this entire list and grab most of these keywords, different topics that you would need to cover. That would give you the idea of all of the different things that these guys are going after. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go through this list because this video would be 2 hours long, but you get the idea. You would add to this list emergency, emergency, so we go emergency repair, and so on. Now, the next thing that you can do is actually go and keep all the websites open and go on these websites. And what I like to do is a couple of things. So I'll go Google, and what we'll do is we'll throw this site into Google and we'll get an idea of how big it needs to be. So this site is 300 pages. Okay, so that gives us a rough idea of how big our site will need to be. Let's do the other ones. We'll see how big these guys are, but I got a feeling that they are potentially more than just, they might be Florida. We'll throw them in. So these guys are 1100 pages, so that's a lot. They're probably doing a lot of different area pages or something like that. Let's try these guys. Okay, these guys are 600, and we'll put the last two in. So these guys are 150, these guys are 530. So we're going to need to make a fairly decent sized page realistically in order to rank. So probably somewhere in the range of 500, unless you want to trump them all and just do like 1,000, 1,500 pages, whatever. But we obviously need appropriate content to rank for all of those. So you don't want to just make, thousands of pages for no reason. You want to figure out what you need to do. But this is giving you an idea of what we're working with here. So roughly somewhere in the 500-600 pages range is probably where you want to be. Now, the next thing I would do is I would take a look at them, go into, if this is a services page or a services site, take a look at what services they're offering. So this will go along with what we started doing before with this list. I would make a new list. Let's say we've got our keyword topics and we'll chuck them in one line. Now in the next line, I'm going to start putting the services. So let's see what services they have. Roof repairs, roof replacement. So roof repairs, roof replacement, impact windows and doors. Now we'll go to the next one, see what they've got. So let's see what these guys have. So emergency services, roof inspections, gutters, ventilation, and now they got roof types. So they got metal roofs, asphalt roofs, flat roofs, tile roofs. Now we'll go to the next ones. These guys have tile, metal, flat. We have that installation, roof repair, maintenance, new construction. So they got new construction. They got maintenance, might be cleaning. Let's see what these guys have. Services, roof repairs, insurance resolution, contractor selection, finance. So maybe I would just go insurance or just put insurance. And we'll go these ones. They have maintenance and repair, commercial roofs. So we'll go commercial. So this is starting to give us an idea of all the things we need to include. These all kind of fall under the ones we've been talking about, roof inspection, finance. Okay, so now we basically have all of the same things as all of these ones put together. And you can see how some of them are missing out compared to others. So we now have a decent list of the different services we need to include. Now what you would also do is, in this case, with a local business, we have service pages. So what I do usually from here, you can see they have a whole bunch of these services. So you could just copy this entire list if you wanted and make sure you include all of them. And we'll put that in a separate list in the Excel with all the areas, and then go through all of these and make sure what areas these guys have, and then put them on the list and make sure you're doing all of the exact same areas. So these guys don't have those. But another thing to find the locations is what you do is you go into the sitemap. So you take the URL. So I'm just going to bring this down. You can see it. You can take the URL and go sitemap.xml, and this will pull up the sitemap typically. So in that case, it didn't for some reason. Maybe they don't have one. But let's go to the next guys. We'll pull up the sitemap, and this will also tell us what locations they're in. We'll go page sitemap. So we got Miami Beach, South Miami, Pinecrest. So this one's obviously going to be a bit of a pain. So what you could theoretically do is copy all of this, go into ChatGPT and ask it to pull all the locations out from this list. And it will usually pull them out for you and give you a list. You can see here. So these are probably all the same as the ones we already had, but I'm just going to paste them in. And then you would do this with all of them. And then what will happen is you just filter them out, remove the duplicates, and then you'll have a list of all of the different areas you should be targeting in that particular section. So now we've got the areas. So now once we have that, what we also want to do is see the blogs. So this is where it's going to get the most useful for something like this. You need to figure out exactly what blogs you need to write for all of the different topics around this. Now, obviously you have your main services pages if you're doing a local business or, whatever the products are, whatever the case may be. But from here, you can figure out what blogs all of them have targeted. And if you make all of those blogs that all of them have done collectively, your site will be the most relevant in theory because you've got all the blogs on all these topics and they don't all have it, in one site. So what you do is, again, go to the sitemap, and this is the easiest way to do it. Just go to sitemap, and then what you would do is you go to posts, and now you can see a whole list of what their posts are. So in theory, you could just copy the entire list and then even throw it into ChatGPT and go, please write me all the based on the URL slug. And in theory, it should now give you all of the exact topics that they wrote about. And then obviously you need to filter through this. Don't just copy and paste and write exactly the same thing they did. But you can use this to know what topics you should be writing about. So for instance, a lot of these are like their jobs, but here you go. Metal roofing pros and cons, best roofing material for architectural home style, how to hang Christmas lights on the roof, holiday safety tips, etc. And you'll find that a lot of these are for specific keywords if you do the keyword research on that particular topic, which I'm not going to cover in this video. However, you get the idea. It would be in there. If you want to see how to do that, I have another video, how to use SEMrush for keyword research. I'll put a link above. You can go watch that video where I actually showed how to do specifically keyword research in SEMrush. But for the point of this is using the competitors. So what we'll do is we'll have blogs here. We've got areas. Here we have services. And then this one is just the random things we found. Now, what you do is you go to the next one. So now, obviously with these guys, it's going to be harder because they've blocked it for whatever reason. So another way you could do this is take their site and go on Google and also go /about-us blog. And now you should have all of their in URL. You want to write that and you'll have all their blog posts in theory. Okay, so you want to make sure you got the format of the actual blog. So unfortunately, these are separated by area by the looks of it, unfortunately. So that's going to make it difficult. So sometimes it's just going to be difficult. You might have to go through it manually. This website, the way they've formatted it is kind of making it a pain. But what I'll do is, just for the purpose of this example, I will take that URL and then you'll see what I mean. So now you got 77 results, a lot of these which will be different blogs. So then you can go through and, you just note the topics or copy them or however you want to take it down. That will give you their ones. And then let's say we go to the next guys, which we already had a look at these ones. We'll pull their topics as well. We'll go to ChatGPT, do exactly the same thing as before. And so now it's going to spit out their topics as well. So now you've got the topics of the top 3 competitors. And obviously you would keep going through this list and pull all of the blogs from your different competitors. So you can see this one just spat out 136 different topics. You can continue generating, but I'll just pull these out so you get the idea. So now we have, between just the 2 sites, we haven't even done the rest of them, we've got 100, almost 200 potential blog topics. Now obviously, like I said, you don't want to copy them exactly every single one. Some of these would be some personal blogs that they've done about them or whatever the case may be. But you now have a huge list of potential topics to talk about on top of the keyword research you should have already done as well. And so this is how you get to know what your website needs to cover in order to top your competitors. Because basically the purpose of this is to figure out what your competitors have done so that you can do a better job than they have. So in theory, you should rank higher by doing this. So by including all of the topics that your competitors have, eventually you should overtake them as being more relevant than them for that specific topic. And then, also if you've done the services, you've got the areas, you've got everything else. 1, you're going to end up with a bigger site, but 2, it's going to be more relevant as well because it covers all of these things. So that's the basic outline of how you do competitor research. You'll go through the list, do the top 5 or the top 10 for the main keyword that you're trying to get. By the end of that, you're going to have a huge amount of keywords and content that you can include that you need to go through. Obviously, you need to filter through this and figure out which ones you actually want to do, but you would have a huge list of content that you can then write, which you would then start producing the content for, and eventually you should start overtaking them in terms of ranking and relevance. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. If you have any questions about any of this, let me know in the comments below and I will answer them. Otherwise, if you'd like me to coach you on how to do SEO and Google Ads for only $49 a month, go to learndominatemarketing.com. And if you'd like us to do the SEO and Google Ads for your business, go to dominatemarketing.io, book a call with us there. Catch you on the next one.